All right, so to continue Revolve Vessel, I want to add features. Let me change over to Fusion. So we've made our vessel and with its tray. We've added some little feeties just because I felt like it. Now with this model, I've already made the drain holes, but I'm going to show you how to do that again. So what we did for that is, and I'll bring my history slider before I made those, and that's before I made the tray. In order to make a pattern drain hole or so, rather than just a single hole, that looks great, is we want to make a sketch. Standard stuff, what are you going to do? Start a sketch. That's pretty much the standard for all of this stuff. So with that, created a sketch, and let me hide the other ones. With that, what I did is when you start a new sketch, just select the bottom of your object. That works plenty fine, or of course you can use the same construction or the same plane that you've been building on. When you do that, it'll snap to the bottom. And for me, I just drew a circle. I just drew a circle off to the side. Why is it not going on here? Hang on a second. My computer is freezing on me. Uh-oh. Think I have too many things open. One moment, sorry. Let me close some stuff. All right. What's going on here? All right, let me pause the recording. Okay, sorry. I didn't see that there was a thing already opened. All right. So what I did here is I just drew a circle on one of the major axes and just drew it out here, somewhere, whatever. Remember, you could always redefine that size, meaning that if I want to change the, oops, don't need to drive it. If I want to, no, resize it, you can always double click on the actual text and it'll bring it up. I don't know if I want to change that to 8, make it bigger drainage holes. There we go. And that's it, just that one, finish sketch. Then use the extrude tool and just use that hole to cut straight on through. You can just drag it straight up. That works plenty fine. From there, want to add a little bit of fillet just to round it out. Now I can use that circle pattern tool to duplicate that completed feature and make multiples. So on that, edit circle pattern. So select by features. That included both the fillets and that internal. Revolve around that center axis. And then for that one, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, whatever you feel like. 15, whatever. Make it so perforated it falls apart. Whatever. So the idea there is now it's got drain holes. Great. I use the same tools to make a sketch for the tray. You don't have to make it touching. You can have it floating, whatever you want, doesn't matter. And then use the exact same revolve tool, continue. Don't forget that when you revolve, if it is touching, it might try to join, and then you would have this whole thing as one singular body. Leave it as new body. That's pretty much it. Okay, so now my vessel has a drip tray and some drainage holes. Cool. Let's add some actual features to this. This is what we wanted to do. This is what I really wanted to have functioning on this. So you have a couple of options for feature requirements. It could have holes going through the surface, or it can have texture going across the surface. That means it could be protruding or cut in, meaning an emboss or deboss. You can even add text, however you want. So for the first one, I want to add some details to the vessel here. All right. And just for the sake of cleaning up, I'm going to hide the tray. All right. So I want to create a sketch, but for this, instead of cutting holes through, I want something on the surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a construction plane because I want the text, the sketch floating in front of my object. So select construction plane. And I want it floating out front. So I'm going to select the XZ axis, the red blue axis. Excuse me. Drag it outward, doesn't matter how far, just so long as it's out in front. I'm getting that dry cough. Okay. So I'm going to create a new sketch on that sketch plane. So if I orbit around, you can see how I'm floating out in front. Dang it. All right, so I want to draw something on here. But just as a reference, just like when we created the original sketch, I want a reference box. What you can do is use the project tool. Either press P or like planet on your keyboard, or go down to project include, project. I'm going to select by body, and I'm going to select my vessel. When I do that, hit OK. When I hide the planter, now I have a silhouette, dang it, outline of my vessel. All that helps me do is just gives me a frame of reference to work around. So from there, I could add just doodad, whatever. I could even add text. Text, remember, functions up. Yeah, I know what that is. Functions off of creating a text box. So I'm clicking and dragging, creating a text box. Now, one thing I found out when I open this text box, you see how it's floating and has parentheses there? Don't delete the parentheses. It gets all screwy, and I don't know why it started doing this. This is a new part, so make sure you finish. I don't know why it's saying 1 inch either. What is going on here? I don't understand what's happening with the text box thing. Great. Anytime they start making new features, inevitably something gets screwy on this. Hello? Function. Awesome. Okay, and now it is working. I swear this program is going to drive me insane lately. What? Why is it? Okay. I genuinely don't know what's been going on with this. I don't know if this is on mine or if y'all have tried using the text box and it's doing something similar, but mine keeps screwing up, and I don't know why it's doing this. So unfortunately, with the text box, I guess I'm just going to have to omit that for now. What I can try instead is text on a path. We'll just do a little doodly here, bring up the text box, and on the tool, text on path, you can select the path itself. So you can select a line, an edge, or in this case, a line I drew. Great, now it's working. So it wasn't between parentheses, it was between single parentheses. I have no idea where this started. This is something I have run into a couple of times. So what that literally means is instead of double parentheses, it means put your text between single parentheses on the keyboard. If you don't, it will keep giving you errors. Now, the problem is it's also showing it to me upside down. So with that, you might have to check. You might have to use the flip tools here. Good Lord. So, yeah, I don't know what's been going on with the text box, but that's pretty screwy. Anyway, you can make that work for yourself. If you use certain fonts, like too ornate, like this Algerian one here that has these little lines inside, it might not work properly. You might have to work with something more standard and boring, like Arial or something like that. Try it out. But, okay, so I've made some features, super duper. Click OK. Let me bring my planter back up. This is all from the outside. What you can do is use the Emboss tool. So go to Create, Emboss. You have a new toolbox pop up, Sketch Profiles. Let's select these little circles. Next option, Faces. Change over. I want to select, obviously, the face of my pot. Now it's going to bring up the rest of the tools. Emboss or deboss. Do you want that to project outward or inward? Emboss goes outward, deboss cuts in. Now, one of the things I want you to note is it's not just a straight extrude. This functions as an offset. So you see how it's curved? Let me change the dimension like 5. See how it goes outward? It is working with the surface, that curved surface, to project outward. If this was a concave surface, the emboss would tilt inward. It functions off of, as an offset, it functions off of whatever is relating to. So in this case, going outward. Let's make that a little more minimal, down to 2 or something like that. Okay. Hide the sketch automatically. Great. I don't want it quite as straight out as that, so let's add a fillet to this. I'll just select the faces, and I don't know, let's see. It was a 2mm extrude, so if I cannot go all the way to 2, let's try 1.5. There we go. That's pretty close. More roundy. Okay. Now, I can take that, and I can repeat just like I did with the feet, go circle pattern, select faces, or select features, and because that was all done on the same one, make sure you select both the front and the fillet, but now it selects all 3 because those were all done on the same emboss. If I broke those up, I could select them individually. But doing so allows me to select that axis, the Z-axis, and now I can have a variety of dots across my surface. Neat way to add texture. For the text, let's bring up my sketch again. I can, let's say, deboss by using the emboss tool. The entire text bar functions as one sketch. Faces, that one. And let's deboss this by half a millimeter. 0.5. I said deboss. Oh. If you try to do a negative deboss, it'll go positive. There we go. So a deboss cuts inward. Now, the cool thing is you can actually adjust the alignment so it doesn't have to be directly connected to the sketch. So as you can see here, I can rotate this a bit and cause an immediate error. You can actually rotate it. My computer is just not built for doing all of this. But you can rotate it, move it around, anything. So your emboss does not have to be exactly where you put the sketch. The trick is, though, to emboss the outside of the surface, your sketch has to be floating outside of the object. So hit OK. And there we go. It is a fancy pot. And there you go. That's pretty much what we're going for. So I'm going to save there. Emboss. If I can get it to save. There you go, buddy. And there you go. So that's how we're going to use the emboss and circle pattern to create multiple features, both drain holes, both drain holes, and some sort of texture features on the outside. Your features must be included. It must have some degree of feature on the outside using the emboss, deboss, or extrude tool. And then it has to have some sort of repeating pattern to that. How I can use the extrude tool, I'll use it on the tray. Normally I would do this the opposite way, but whatever. I will do it on the planter too. Why not? It gets all the love. So instead of an emboss and it floating on a construction plane, I'm going to select the original plane, just as it is. Excuse me. I'll project again the whole body. So now when I hide that, exact same thing. See how it's also getting the silhouette of the little bump outs? That's what it does. Damn. So from there, I'm going to add, I don't know, let's make the top kind of fancier. Everything's fancy on this. I'm going to use an ellipse, start smacking the middle, draw outward, I don't know, sure, 50, and then go up a little bit, 10. Damn, excuse me. Damn. I don't know why I get that dry tickle. Okay. There we go. So I just have that ellipse floating there. Unhide the planter. Now I'm going to extrude that straight out. So it cut the lip. From there, why not? We'll add a fillet to that. I don't know. Let's see. Something like 0.1, 0.5. Just trying to make it a little more roundy. Yeah, that'll work. Close enough. Okay. You can try doing a full round. I don't know if it'll work. But from there, same deal. Circle pattern. By features, select the feature. Make sure you get them both. Come on, I said select. Please select. There we go. And axis, same deal. I don't know, let's make that 4. Looks like I have space enough. Hit OK. Now I have a roundy top. So you can add features, you can modify, change the overall design of your piece simply by either placing a sketch on the inside if you're going to extrude outward, or a sketch floating out on a construction plane out in front, outside of it, if you're going to use the Emboss Deboss tool. I'm not going to say you cannot use a sketch that's inside to emboss, deboss the outside. However, it often causes errors if you do not have the sketch outside of the body. Just the way that Fusion works. Last thing we're going to do with this, I'm going to shift out of, well, let me save that. Extrude lip. Is the last thing with this, we're going to apply appearances. Press A, Apple on your keyboard. Oh, I have to shift to color mode, which I've just had it in auto color mode. This is where you can just put it whatever you feel like. I'm just asking you, a requirement is to apply some kind of appearance. This is going to be a standard on your projects going forward. What I mean by that is you have a variety of whatever you please. You want to turn it into a liquid. Somehow magically your pot is a calm sea. Sure, why not? There is, yeah, no, that actually, I kind of want to see that too now. All right. How does that look as a calm sea? That looks more, yeah, that's pretty menacing. As for a calm sea, that's pretty unsettling. All right, so maybe liquid, not great. But if you wanted it to look like it was glass, textured glass, sure. Frosted glass, why not? Doesn't really look at the moment, but that's just one of the colorations. We can, of course, look at, why not? Let's make it the most expensive we can find. Sure, I want a palladium pot to put a plant that I'm inevitably going to kill in. And for the bottom, I don't know. Let's make it, if it's going to be sucking up water, let's make it wood, because reasons that make no sense whatsoever. And there we go. The whole thing is, I just want you to play with the appearance tool, throw some appearances on, make your fancy pot even fancier. That's it. So appearances added. There you go. So I'm going to go around and help you out, but that is the goal. Make some features, add features to the surface. We're using whatever tool combination feels right for you. This could be a continuing repeating pattern. It can be a smattering of textures, whatever you please. Final thing, add features to your surfaces. Bring up the appearance tool, just press A, that's it, and you can throw appearances on as you like. Play about, enjoy.